members of the class of 2025 from down the street, across the country, and around the world. Around the world, just as it should be.
According to a recent report in the Wall Street Journal, Harvard has trained so many Chinese communist officials, they call it their party school. The story says alumni in the Chinese leadership include a former vice president and the country's top US trade relations negotiator. Sons and daughters of prominent communist leaders have also studied there.
Now look, our university is certainly imperfect, but I am proud to stand today alongside our graduating class, our faculty, and our president with the shared conviction that this ongoing project of Veritas is one worth defending.
Well, some viewers will smile inwardly when they hear that the college at the pinnacle of America's higher education is also the place where the elite of America's principal geopolitical adversary go to learn how to turn their country into the dominant superpower. Harvard's faculty, of course, in economics, the hard sciences, medicine, mathematics, and others, still comprise some of the greatest minds on the planet. The research conducted there remains world-beating, and even in some undergraduate humanities programs, I'm told, it's still possible to get a proper education with a minimum of mandatory indoctrination.
From the river to the sea!
But the knowledge that America's actual and potential enemies are among the biggest fans of Harvard and other elite US colleges crystallizes for many Americans the conviction that our higher education system has badly lost its way.
Last spring, MIT's undergraduate body and graduate student union voted overwhelmingly to cut ties with the genocidal Israeli military.
Just a few days ago, we were treated to the spectacle of the president of the graduating class at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology dedicating her entire graduation speech to a denunciation of Israel.
We are watching Israel try to wipe Palestine off the face of the earth, and it is a shame that MIT is a part of it. The Israeli occupation forces are the only foreign military that MIT has research ties with.
Now, to their credit, MIT's leaders later barred the student from attending the full commencement ceremony.
Okay, listen, folks. At MIT, we value freedom of expression, but today's about the graduates, so it's time for me to charge you all. So good afternoon, everyone.
But this is the face of America's academic institutions today. Privileged, extremist little Maoists spouting ahistorical drivel and bigoted cant to people who thought they were attending a celebration and got a Nuremberg rally.
Okay, folks. There is a time and a place to express yourselves, and you will have many, many years to do it. Let's talk today about our graduates.
Viewers of my weekly video will know that I'm no enthusiast for many of President Trump's policies or methods. But on higher education, I say, bring it on.
We want to know where those students come. Are they troublemakers? What countries do they come?
Mr. Trump is right to have identified the system as having corrupted our national cohesion and purpose, and he's right again to target Harvard as the symbolic and substantive summit of that system.
The United States, I further can say here, will not tolerate the CCP's exploitation of U.S. universities or theft of U.S. research, intellectual property, or technologies.
There's much that I can dislike in his methodology here too. Punishing Harvard by cutting off valuable scientific research funding is a dubious tactic. But I'm also sympathetic to the idea that structural reform is an omelette, and some of these institutions, unfortunately, are the necessary eggs.
The U.S.'s unreasonable decision to revoke Chinese students' visas under the pretext of ideology and national security seriously infringes upon the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese students.
The charge sheet against Harvard has the university dead to rights. In 2023, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of students for fair admissions after Harvard actively discriminated against many of the most gifted Americans based on their skin color.
But can now rejoice over the fact that at least our kids can be judged based on their achievements and merits alone.
Through its hiring practices and teaching, it has created an oppressively intolerant, monocultural intellectual microclimate.
I think the part that really got me was when I saw faculty from the stage walk down and walk alongside students. It's just made the movement more powerful, I think, and it has empowered the students overall.
Then there's the administrative bureaucracy through which it has enforced and policed these rigidities at great cost, paid for in part by steep tuition hikes. And its $53 billion endowment, meanwhile, has ballooned into a hedge fund with a university attached. Through its aggressive pursuit of international students, it's built a little elite globalist community of highly privileged, like-minded students and academics.
It feels very disorienting to have to try to think about whether or not I'm welcome here or whether there is a stable future here.
Discouraging capable students from coming to the US will hurt us, be sure of that, as will depriving valuable academic research of federal funds.
Now, I invite you all to join me in the tradition of turning the ring.
But if these actions finally force universities to implement real changes to fix the rot,
we will carry with us the stamp of the MIT name.
By making them less of a party school for foreign apparatchiks and a playground for radical anti-American ideology,
The same name that is directly complicit in the ongoing genocide of the Palestinian people.
And return them instead to their state as a centers of American excellence, it will have been worth it.